welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to start a new series on my channel where I talk about viral environmental news. I don't have a name for it yet, so for now it's just called environmental news. But first, before we get started, if you are new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. That way you can get some more amazing content on sustainability and climate change. A big reason why I wanted to start this series is because of an article I saw trending on Twitter last week that was about a climate study that was recently done. It was picked up by a lot of news sources, including some big ones like LA Times, but I have not linked any of them down below because, as you will soon see, I do not think it's worth your time reading. However, I have instead linked below an article that was kind of more of a response article to this first one that gives more detail and more context to the study that was done. First off, it's so clickbaity. I really hate when other scientists try to make these big end of the world claims like this because it's just not good science. When we discuss science, we need to also be discussing the uncertainty. Even if we are 99% sure that something is going to happen, there's still that 1% chance that it won't. And we need to be able to communicate that and find ways to communicate it effectively. In the case of past the point of no return research, it's so difficult to determine where that point is. So whenever you see those words, take it with a grain of salt and look deeper. Be skeptical and do more research. Another big red flag with this study is the model they used. This particular model is extremely simplified, and when we're dealing with stuff like climate and weather, we don't want simple. These are the exact words of the creator of this model. We have made a simple system dynamics model, ESCIMO, Earth System Climate Interpretable Model, which runs on a desktop computer in seconds and is able to reproduce the main output from more complex climate models. So I'm very skeptical about this. I have not worked specifically with making big climate models, but I have worked with their output, so I have some familiarity with how complex they are. Specifically, I worked with CMIP5, so if you know what that is, there you go. And let me tell you, they are not something that can be run on a desktop. And no way would they be able to run on a desktop computer in a matter of seconds. Like I said, climate and weather are difficult. They take complex models, and it is a good reason why. Predicting the future is hard. Think of any March Madness tournament or trying to predict who's going to win the presidency. It's not easy, even when you have the best data available to you. For these climate models, when you run them, you need a supercomputer to do it because there is just so much data that goes into it and so much data that comes out of it. Even just working with the output, I needed a supercomputer to be able to run my results. And even with a supercomputer, it took a heck of a lot longer than a few seconds. For them to make the claim that a very simplified model is showing we're past the point of no return, I would argue is irresponsible at best and is likely not the best representation of what is actually going on in the climate. One other note I'd like to add is they don't really consider carbon capture that much. Their claim is that there's already too much CO2 out there in the atmosphere, so that even if we hit zero emissions, there's nothing we could do to stop the slow of climate change. However, there are a lot of carbon capture and storage projects that are going on right now that could become viable solutions in the future if they reach large-scale implementation. The one thing I will say comes from this study is it does draw attention to the fact that we still need to do more. Even if we are able to get to the entire world to zero emissions by 2050, we are still going to see long-term impacts from the emissions that are currently in the atmosphere. If we want to see real change happen, we need to keep doing work and not just reach that goal of zero emissions, because the planet isn't gonna suddenly become better again if we have zero emissions. It'll take a lot of cleanup work after that to keep things going, and carbon capture and storage is likely going to be a big part of it. So the main takeaway I want you to get from this is don't believe every headline you read. And also, sometimes don't believe every study you read or see out there. There is always a level of uncertainty, and so if you see a study or paper or article, whatever, claiming definitively this end-all, be-all, past the point of no return, doomsday, be skeptical of it and do more research. If you're unsure of something, do more research. Just always do more research. Get more than one opinion out there and learn a lot of different things so you have a better understanding of what's actually going on and what scientists actually believe is going on. With that, that is all the time I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this new series, and if you did, make sure to leave a like down below, that way I know. And also subscribe to the channel to join the journey to living more sustainably. If you'd like to keep up on my own journey to living more sustainably in between uploads, you can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which are all linked down below. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.